It's time for Curves, Chalk and Chucks.
Welcome back, fellas, to another episode of Curves, Chalk, and Chucks. We have an exciting one today. As always, my name is Charlie Butler, here with Charlie Mathis, and we're excited to jump into it today. There's been a little bit of news to go over.
Yeah, hey everybody. Episode 6. We're super excited to be here with you today. I guess we just jump right into it. We have a few big starting pitcher moves. We're going to start off with Freddie Peralta, traded from the Brewers to the Mets, and a couple of large prospects going over in that trade. We've got Freddie Peralta and Tobias Myers, who is a 26-year-old starter / reliever. He started 25 games in 2024, put up 2.7 WAR, and played a few games in relief this year to put up 0.6 WAR. But of course, he's not the biggest part of this trade. The biggest part is Freddie Peralta. So I guess the Mets find their ace. I wanted to start with Tobias Myers, right? Because he's not a household name like Freddie Peralta would be. But like the Mets get two good starting pitchers in this. I imagine Myers slots in relief, but he's like a sixth option to me, I think. I think you know what you're getting Freddie Peralta, and Tobias Myers is like part of this trade that will go under the radar.
Yeah, I think we predicted this. I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that we talked about earlier, about trade candidates, and I think we did bring up the Mets, talking about like how they have some prospect capital to kind of give away. I think it's a win-win, honestly. I think that both teams really get what they're going for. Jet Williams good and Brandon Sproat, they're good. Freddie Peralta, of course, you gotta talk about that. That's a big one. I think that really helps the Mets. Makes me a little more confident in my prediction last week about how Mets were going to run the division. But yeah, I mean, this one kind of slipped under the radar for us. Like, it was literally, I think, Tuesday he got traded, and we got done recording on Monday. And like we've been talking about him for a minute, and then it just kind of happened. But glad we get to talk about it now. I need to look more into Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat to really get it. But I mean, from what I've heard, like they're pretty legit. And I think that it'll help. It really helps both. I mean, obviously you're losing Freddie Peralta for the Brewers, but I mean, you're getting Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat, so you can't really be too mad about it. A win-win, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Brewers get what they're looking for in top prospect capital. Jet Williams, like he's a Brewers guy. I mean, we talk about the Brewers, they've got all these kind of small, like speedy up the middle guys, like a Bryce Terang type, right? And that is exactly who Jet Williams is. He's got like 80 grade speed, and he's got a contact tool. And so I think that's just like, that's a Brewers-y guy. He's also a top 100 prospect in all of baseball, and I believe he's the number 2 prospect in the Mets system, or at least he was. And Brandon Sproat was a top 5 prospect in their system as well. He's had a cup of coffee up last season. He started about 4 games towards the end of the season, and he looked decent, but nothing amazing, nothing like no Jacob Mizorowski stuff here. But I think the scouting report is pretty set on him being able to be a competent starter.
No, I'm high on Brandon Sproat, honestly. I like him a lot. He's the number 100 prospect in all of baseball, so I feel like he kind of goes under the radar. But I mean, like, he's got that like makeup almost. Like, we're talking like Moneyball eye test. Like, I don't know. This is a guy I look at him like this is a starting pitcher. You know, I don't know. He just got that aura, I feel. And no, I think that this is like a good pickup. I mean, they got Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. They got 2 top 100 prospects in all of baseball for their ace. Yeah, that's good for the Brewers. Like you were saying, Jet Williams, that's the most brewer ever, I think. Unless you're Robin Yount or like Paul Molitor, you're not getting more Brewers than this guy. I mean, obviously he's got to prove himself a little bit to really get you there. But no, I think that they're going to develop him into like a Bryce Terang type role, I feel. And I'm excited for him. I think he's going to really break out and make his name in the MLB with Milwaukee. So good for him.
Yeah, I think like we've talked a lot about Freddie Peralta, but I feel like we owe it to this guy to go over what his stats are. He's got 2 more years of team control at like $8 million, I believe, is his salary, which is just crazy low for a starting pitcher. I mean, that is very team friendly. And then you look at the stats, he hasn't put up an ERA above 4 since 2019. So he's played all of the shortened 2020 season, and then he's put up 2.8, 3.58, 3.86, 3.6, and last year 17 wins at a 2.7 clip, 33 games for a 5.5 WAR. I mean, that's a true number one starter. I'm kind of jumping the gun by saying this, but like if we look at Mackenzie Gore, who we'll get to later, the other starter moved, these are not the same guy. And I think we'll talk about these two trades very similarly, but it's like Freddie Peralta is a true number one, and no one can take that away from him. And I feel like he doesn't get his flowers as a true number one. And maybe it's because he's on the Brewers, who are stocky and short and young, but they are going to definitely miss him, I think. And I think if there's a deal that was going to be made, this was the one, right? Because you get two top 100 prospects and prospects that are close to the major league level too. You're not trading like a Leo DeVries, right? Who's like 18 years old or something. Like these are guys who are in, I think, double or triple A. Brandon Sproat, obviously, who's already made it to the show. So I really love this trade for both sides. I think it's low risk for both sides for sure.
Yeah, going back to Freddie Peralta being that ace last year, guy was shoving, you know. I mean, he had a 5.5 WAR, finished fifth in Cy Young voting, all that to a 2.7 ERA. Like, can't really get much better than that when you're looking for an ace. This guy, he's gonna really help the Mets. That's why I'm excited, you know, because like I don't know, I like the Mets. I'm a Mets believer, which is I feel like it's kind of hard to come by. But they got like a little underrated guy. You know, everybody's talking about him, but I feel like we don't really like appreciate what we have with him. So hopefully in a bigger market like New York, I think that he's gonna like become not like the face of pitching, but he'll be like a little more heard almost. So yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I think that's a good call. I think like you're in Milwaukee. I mean, I love Milwaukee. It's a great town, but it doesn't have the majesty that New York has, especially in terms of baseball. You're moving to the Big Apple. I feel like he's definitely going to get his flowers there. I want to take a look at what that rotation looks like. We've already talked about Freddie Peralta, true number one. Let's look at that rotation. I've got Kodai Senga in the second spot, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas. Like these are some dudes.
they
Like
got
this
a
is
good roster. I mean, rotation.
they really do.
Yeah, Nolan McLean, like was he?
Mhm.
He's legit, dude. He came up last year and like he was pitching really great. I think that he's going to be like a big impact in that Mets rotation. And you got that 1-2 punch with Freddie Peralta now, and we're not even counting Kodai Senga or Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas. Like it's pretty legit. Like that's a good rotation. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's the best in baseball, but it's got to be up there when you're looking at the rankings.
Yeah, and I do an apology. Frankie Montas has yet to re-sign anywhere yet. But definitely Nolan McLean slotting in there. Do we want to go over the Mets offseason so far? I feel like they were kind of like the dregs, right? Like they were just kind of when people talked because like one of the earliest moves of the offseason was Pete Alonso goes to the Orioles, and you're like what the hell are we doing, right? I mean, that's your statue first baseman. I mean, I think there's no doubt that he wanted to be a Met for life. But then you also lose Edwin Diaz. So like a terrible start to the offseason, but I got to hand it to this Mets front office. You know, you go out and you get Bo Bichette. You make two great trades for Freddie Peralta, right? And Luis Robert. I mean, I think that's huge for them. I think they're filling in gaps. And I think like at the start of the offseason, it didn't look great, but I think, is this a better Mets team than it was last year? I have to imagine yes, because you lose two guys, but I think on the edges, I feel like marginally you've gotten better.
Yeah. I think that they're very much so in a win now scenario. We saw them get rid of Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. So I think I see that as kind of them saying like, take our prospects, give me the guys ready to win right now. Yeah, and then their off season, like it's just been good. It's been solid. Obviously, Pete Alonso not re-signing was like I consider that to be a misstep by the Mets. I think that they're really going to see what they lost with him. But I mean, they got Marcus Semien. We know what he can do. We got Devin Williams. He needs that work, but I mean, with Edwin Diaz, that's going to be a good bullpen. Jorge Polanco, that's an underrated guy. Luke Weaver, that's one of the Yankees' best relievers. They got rid of Jeff McNeil. Like, I think that they really are ready to win right now. And in this East, in this NL East, they're gonna like really look for that shot now. I don't think that the Phillies are really where they usually are now. And then the rest of the division's a wash, kind of as we said last episode. But no, I'm excited for this Mets team. I think they're hungry after missing the postseason last year. They're gonna come in with all these new guys that they've acquired and all the guys who are ready to win. I mean, we kind of glossed over the fact they have Juan Soto, who I think is top 3 best hitter in baseball. Like that guy can rake. He's gonna be great for them. And you got Francisco Lindor. Like this team is just stacked. I think that they're one of the best teams in baseball, and I'm ready to say that they're gonna be a contender for a World Series.
And I want to give David Stearns his flowers. I do want to put a little asterisk though, because now that it's all said and done, like if I like, don't look at any stats. If I told you you can either have Pete Alonso or you can have Bo Bichette, I feel like there's no question in anyone's mind that you take Pete Alonso. Is that, and like you can disagree with me, but let's look at those contracts. Like Pete Alonso signed for 5 years, 155 million with the Orioles, and their last offer to Pete Alonso before he signed was 5 years, 150 million. So it's like you won't pony up those extra $5 million to Pete Alonso, but then you go and give a guy who probably will be stuck at DH a 3-year, $126 million contract. I feel like in a lot of ways, I think the money you gave to Edwin Diaz, I think shipping that out to Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, I think that's a great way to keep your money. I think that's very efficient. But this Pete Alonso, Bo Bichette disparity, I think that's inefficient. And I was going to say, I was like, you know what? I'm going to say that David Stearns has been smart with his money. But then I thought, let me just compare those contracts real quick. And so I want to give just that asterisk there to the Mets front office. It's like you really couldn't pony up those extra $5 million to Pete Alonso. But with that being said, I agree with you full-heartedly. I think this is a much better team. I think there's one thing they could have done better, but other than that, I think this is a much better team than they were last year.
For sure, yeah.
All right.
I want to move on now to Kenzie Gore. This was a big one. Again, I think this is a win-win. I don't know. Like the Rangers really traded like their whole farm system. Like this was a huge one for them. They're giving up their number 2 prospect, their number 6, number 12, and number 16, and number 18. So like that feels like a whole farm system kind of gone for one guy. But it is Mackenzie Gore. He proved himself last year. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I look at Mackenzie Gore and I think his stuff is elite, right? I think Mackenzie Gore he's got it. Whatever the baseball gene is, he's got it, right? He's got the stuff, but he just needs to be consistent. Like the first half of the season last year, he was a true ace. I mean, he was damn good. I mean, he was looking like the number 1 start, like the number 1 guy that you want at the top of your rotation. But then the back half of the year, he puts up like a ERA in his last 15 starts. And so it's a tale of 2 halves of the season. And we've kind of seen that as well with him. Like what kind of guy has he been? Because he put up, a 3.9 ERA last year in 32 starts, which is not quite what you want out of a number 1, but that could be a poor man's number 1 starter. I feel like we've been waiting for Mackenzie Gore to be traded for a while now. And I like that they're not giving up any like top prospects. Not that the Rangers had many other than, Sebastian Walcott. But like there's something to be said for, 5 guys for 1 guy. And great job, on the Nationals front office of just saying like, look, I want as many guys as you want because like statistically, one of them's got to break out, right? I mean, there's number 16 prospects that end up being an everyday player all the time. Gavin Fine is a guy who was a first-round draft pick, a year ago. So good on getting him. So I love it for the Nationals. I'm not quite so sure I love it for the Rangers, but there's all I don't know, I think this shows that the Rangers think that they're World Series contenders and that they think they can contend in the AL West, which we're going to go over later.
Yeah, going back to Mackenzie Gore, I think that he has it in him. Like you said, he's got that gene. Last year, obviously, the first half, dude was electric. I mean, he made an all-star team. Can't really look at wins and losses when we're talking about the Nationals, but I mean, getting 5 wins out of that team, that counts for something. But it kind of sucks because it's like you're looking at these stats, and they don't really jump off the page until you look at like last half, like the first half of the season compared to the last half. He's got the potential to be that ace, and I think he's coming into a great spot of his career. He's turning 27. That's typically around the age that starters find their stuff. I mean, look at Skubal. He didn't really become the best pitcher in baseball until he was 27. So Mackenzie Gore, I think he's gonna find his stride with the Rangers. They got a team that is ready to compete a little bit more than the Nationals. I don't really want to say that they're like really gonna do anything in the AL West, but I mean like it's always out there. Um I'm just kind of confused, like why they gave up that much for one guy. Like they must really see something special in Mackenzie Gore. Which I mean, we can all talk about stats all day, but like at the end of the day, it's whether you produce or not. And they must really think that Mackenzie Gore is going to produce. I mean, they gave up so much, and I wonder like how this is going to set them back, if it will at all. I mean, this could be a trade that we're going to talk about in 5 years and be like, why did the Rangers give up their future for one guy who was whatever? Or why did the Rangers give their whole future for a guy that led them to a World Series? You know, either way you look at it, we're going to be looking at this Rangers trade for a while.
Yeah, I feel like whereas the Freddie Peralta trade is kind of low risk, I think this is high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And I was looking through Mackenzie Gore's stats, and I want to point out something that I just found super odd. In 2024, he threw 32 games to a 3.9 ERA. And in 2025, he threw 30 games to a 4.1 ERA, which are pretty similar when you look at it in that sense. But 72 earned runs in 2024, 74 in 2025, right? But in 2024, he had 93 runs scored on him, only 72 earned. And then last year it was 75 runs, 74 earned. So what was up with his 2024? Was that like their defense wasn't that bad? And so maybe are some of these runs just like I doubt like you can chalk some of it up to sloppy defense. But I think at some point it's like if you were giving up 20 more runs than earned runs, I think that bodes poorly for you. And so maybe his 2024, which is the only season he's had a sub-4 ERA, maybe that's a little bit concealed, and maybe he was actually a little worse than we thought.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have that planned out. I was just looking at it and I was like, hold up, like why is there such a big disparity? They played in the same amount of games. He only pitched 7 more innings in 2024. So yeah, I don't know. I think we can talk about this all we want. I think we can talk about stats and intangibles like you said, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's like, oh, the Rangers front office and or pitching coach see something they like and they go, you know what? Mackenzie Gore could be great if he just made one little tweak, and or maybe there's so much that we don't know as an outside party. Is maybe it's his strength and conditioning coach. Maybe that's why he burned out in the second half of the season. So I don't know. Maybe the Rangers see something that we don't, and I don't think you can always grade a trade until at least like 3 or 4 years after, if not more. But I will say right now the optics don't look great for the Rangers.
Yeah, we're gonna go more into that coming up here shortly, but yeah, I agree. I don't think that it really bodes well, especially giving up Gavin Fine. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Fien or Fine, but I don't know. I'm high on this guy. I think that he's gonna be legit. I'm a little biased because he was my third baseman MLB The Show, but I mean I like him, dude. He seems like he's got it. I mean, he's an overall 50 rated prospect. He's got 55 hit, 55 power. Like the dude can hit. I don't really see why they would give him up like this early. They just drafted the guy like first round, 12th overall, I believe. So I mean, I don't know. Just feels kind of weird to get rid of him that early. I get you're getting Mackenzie Gore, but like you said, like I just don't know if Mackenzie Gore is really going to be that guy. I feel like it's just kind of a really high price to pay for him, for a guy who hasn't even really proven himself. This is a kind of trade like when we were talking about the Juan Soto trade a couple years ago. Like this is like a package like that. I feel almost like you're not giving up that high rated prospect, but you're giving up the volume is so much that it kind of raises a few eyebrows.
Yeah, and you bring up the Juan Soto trade. How about the trade that keeps on giving, right? Because he goes from Washington and they get Mackenzie Gore out of it, and then from Mackenzie Gore they're going to get these guys, and who knows who these guys are going to get him. So the Nationals owe Juan Soto quite a bit.
Now the whole future, basically. I mean, CJ Abrams in that, right? Yeah, everybody that. So I don't know. I feel like the Nationals' future is pretty bright, though. They got a lot of pretty high-rated prospects. They got the volume. I think the volume is so much. Like they just have so many guys that they've traded for. One of those guys, like you said, statistically, one of them has to hit. Just depends on like who that guy is and when.
Yeah. All right. I want to shift now to we've got three major, well, not major, but the three signings worth talking about. And we've got the first one I've got on the list here is the least exciting of the three. Taylor Rogers signs a 1-year contract with the Twins. You know, he's a reliever they're paying $2 million for. I feel like there's a disparity in relievers. Some guys get like $10 million a year, and then some guys get like $2 million, and there's not much in between. Taylor Rogers is a $2 million guy. That doesn't mean that he can't go out and be a solid bullpen piece. I mean, there's no reason he can't be your setup man, right? There's no reason he can't go right before your closer. So,
No, I like Taylor Rogers. He was an all-star. People really forget about that. Like, yeah, I feel like he kind of gets put into like, oh, he's the like guy with the funky delivery, the lefty who comes out of the bullpen, and like the guy, the lefty specialist. You're gonna get him in whenever there's like, I don't know, ninth inning. You got a lefty up. You need to throw somebody in. He's your guy. I think it's a good signing. You know, like he's not bad. He hasn't been like that great last year. Like he was all right though. I mean, relievers have a much harder time putting up WAR, and throughout the whole campaign he had .4. So I mean it's all right, you know. But no, I think this is kind of a sneaky signing. Like it's not going to be a huge impact. Relievers aren't really like gonna make an impact like Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers is. But no, I think that this is good for them. I think that they're going to get something decent out of it. You can't really hate on it. It's low risk, low reward. I mean, who knows high reward? Never know. I like it, you know. Can't really there's not much to really say about it though. Like you got a lefty now out of the bullpen, sweet. Good for you. Just
yeah.
something with it now.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I agree. There's not much to say. Like, he's past his prime. You know, you sign a reliever who's past his prime, and at his best, he's going to be decent. This guy might have a 50-50 shot of making the Hall of Pretty Good someday. And so, you know, we give him his flowers for that, and then we move on because we've got my childhood favorite player to talk about. A little Harrison Bader, man. I wish I had his hair. I wish I had his baseball skills. I wish I had his speed.
This is crazy.
He is going to San Francisco to be a Giant for 2 years, $20 million. That's $10 million a year. What do you think of this?
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. What you just said is a little like I feel like I learned something new about you. Out of everyone on the Cardinals you could have picked to be your favorite player, you chose Harrison Bader. All right, he's flashy, I guess. That's it, dude. Like, what else does he have? He's fast. Like, he's not cannot be that fast anymore. Like, I don't know. I never bought it on the Harrison Bader hype. I thought he was all right. He's a good fielder, but like, I don't know. I feel like his social media posts exceed who he is as a player. People talk more about that than they really do his bat. Last year he was good though. I think he kind of had a resurgence almost for the he went to the Giants. I mean, this is a good signing for them. They're getting a little bit of outfield help, a little help with the bat. I don't know. I've never been a Harrison Bader enthusiast as you seem to be, but maybe that'll change this season. I feel like he's got a little more mature. He's in his 30s now. Good for him. He got his bag. Hopefully he works out with the Giants.
Well, you know, you asked me why I'm a Harrison Bader fan. All the ladies told me I looked like him. And I was like, you know, I appreciate it, but I could never, you know, Harrison Bader very much eclipses my looks. But I'm pulling up his Baseball Reference, and when I was younger, of course, I was never a Baseball Reference freak like I am now. But I think he's a little inconsistent, but I think you can never go wrong betting on good defense. And he only has one Gold Glove to show for it, which I think is crazy. Which he won with our St. Louis Cardinals, by the way. I need to dig my Harrison Bader jersey out of the closet. But I think like his defense is so good. It's kept him with a positive WAR basically every year of his career. Every year of his career entirely. He's bounced around quite a bit. He's very much a role player. But there's no reason, you know, in his past 3 seasons. Let's see. Yeah, in 2025 he put a 0.9 WAR. I mean, good for him. Obviously traded mid-season. Yeah, I think like $10 million. I think that's the going rate for a quality center fielder who plays quality defense. And I say quality with an asterisk, right? Because I think there's a possibility his best days are behind him, but you never know. And Bader was always one of those guys, you know, talking back to his time on the Cardinals, he was sometimes a little banged up at times, but when he was on, he was like, I thought him and Tyler O'Neill were very similar. And I'm gonna bring that comparison up. It's like Tyler O'Neill, he's like, dude, he's got all the potentials. He's got all the skill set. It's just about putting it together. And Bader, he's very much like a toolsy center fielder, speed, contact at times, and defense. And that's what I like. Not every guy is an Aaron Judge. Not every guy's a Shohei. Stop being a hater, Chuck. I mean, come on.
I don't know. Like, he's a fast outfielder. I want to see a fast outfielder get on base, and I just don't think he really gets on base like that much. The dude doesn't really walk. His OBP isn't great. Like, he fields, and good for him. I think the Giants got a good deal. I'm not hating that. They got a big outfield. They need some dude patrolling out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good defensively. I mean, looking at it more, I don't hate the guy. I think he's a good player. He hit really well last year. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted because I have a little bit of bias from his time in the Cardinals, just because he never really was like that consistent, I guess. That I'm just kind of like not like too high up on him. But I mean, I feel like it's good. I think the Giants got their guy. I don't think it's really gonna affect their chances to win the NL. It's just a signing to me. It's just another guy off the.
Yeah, definitely not an earth-shattering move. Arguably one of the better hitters available at this point in the offseason. I will say, though, I think they did have some issues. Like you said, Oracle Park has got a big outfield. And I think they had, I believe it was Jung-Hoo Lee who they had playing. He put up, he hit pretty well. He put up a 735 OPS, but he was not defensively what they were hoping for.
Yeah.
And so I think Harrison Bader definitely slots into that center field and moves Jung-Hoo Lee probably to right or left field. Maybe right, because I think Mike Yastrzemski's a Brave, so they've definitely got an opening up in right field for him. Yeah, I don't think we have to talk about it anymore. Maybe one of the more exciting of the three signings, Seranthony Dominguez, is a White Sox, and no hate to Dominguez, right? But I don't really care who he is. All I care about is the White Sox are shelling out some cash. Good for them. And I feel like that you got to make some signings. Like, I don't even care if they're good. Just pay someone some money. It's like the Cardinals. No one wants to show up to our games because we don't pay anyone any money. We're not exciting. We don't feel like the front office, the owner, cares about us. I feel like White Sox fans, you've got to be looking at this and being like, look, I'll take it. It's better than what we've been doing the past 3 years. I understand you traded away our center fielder, but at least we're trying. At least we're fighting. We were dead in the water. So.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording. I feel like it's kind of like interesting from his perspective. He's been on the Phillies, and he was with the Phillies, and he went to the Orioles, and then he was with Toronto. So that's 3 franchises that in the past couple of years have been pretty good. I mean, he was on that 2024 Orioles team. All 3 of those were competing for a World Series at some point. So he's kind of going from like some pretty high tier teams to like the bottom of the barrel, which I'm kind of curious to see what other teams offered him. Because I figure at this stage in his career, I mean, he's only 30, so reliever, he's got some time. I just thought like maybe he'd want to go to a more winning team. Like, there's got to be some contender out there that would want this guy. I mean, you can't like the stuff's there. The guy he's pretty legit. Like, he can throw, dude. I just don't. He doesn't seem like a White Sox to me. I feel like he's a Philly to me. Like, when I think of Seranthony Dominguez, I think the Phillies. Like, this is the type of guy that they'd have.
Yeah. I feel like Seranthony Dominguez is the kind of guy who you envision pitching in October, right? I feel like you envision him as a guy that you can strut out there in the 7th inning. Like, probably not a closer, but you can strut him out there in the 7th inning and you are happy with Seranthony Dominguez being on the mound. Like, I'm looking at his numbers and I like it for the White Sox. I mean, past 2 years he's put up, let's see. He had a bad first half in 2024 and a good second half. But last year he was a guy, man. He put up a 3.16 ERA. Like you said, how old is he? 31. 30. He's 31. Yeah. He just turned 31. And so he's still got, like, this is the contract I'd offer him. You got 2 years left. I wouldn't offer him anything crazy. I mean, relievers never get 5-year contracts with the exception of the top, 2% of them. But I mean, I think 2 years, $20 million, like the old mantra, there's no such thing as a bad 1-year contract. I think there are few bad, like, man, I'm botching this. But it's really hard to have a bad 2-year contract.
Yeah.
And you want to pay your reliever $10 million a year? It's only $20 million. It's fine. And maybe that's just what it takes to get a solid reliever now. Especially that's what it takes to get him to come to the South Side. Good for the White Sox and good for Sir Anthony Dominguez. This is, if I were to harbor a guess, I'd say this is the most money he's making in his career.
So I don't know how much he was making before. I think he got his bag with this.
Yeah, let's see. He made $8 million last year. The year before that, $4 million. So yeah, he's like, good for him, getting some dough.
Yeah.
I think we head now to the AL and NL West. This will conclude our predictions so far. There's still a few guys yet to sign, but I think generally now that we have most everyone, most of the big guys have signed. We can see what we think about each division. So you want to go AL West or NL West first, Chuck?
I think we got to get the NL West done. I feel like that
All
is
right.
like where we're gonna stick for a minute. I mean, obviously we need to talk about the Dodgers. I don't know. I just don't see this really being that competitive of a division as it was last year. The Dodgers obviously are the best team in baseball. I don't think anybody's really going to argue with that. They had 93 wins last year. I think that they're going to get even more now. They got Kyle Tucker, the best bat on the market. I just don't see how they can get worse. They've only gotten better. And I think it really just screws over the entire, the rest of the division. Like, what are the Padres going to do to counteract that? And I have not heard anything out of the Padres since, I don't know. I don't think that they've really done anything. They had the trade last year with Mason Miller, but I don't know. There's just nothing from them. So looking at the Dodgers, I really think they're going to stay at the top.
Yeah, and I think who was Robert Suarez went to the Braves, right? So they're out a closer, right?
Yeah.
Obviously they've got Mason Miller who can fill that spot extremely well. But I don't know, I look at the Padres. I mean, yeah, you extend Michael King, good for you, and Nick Pivetta is fine. There's your 1 and 2, but other than that, this rotation doesn't look super special. Yu Darvish, what does he have left in the tank?
I think he just. I swear he just said something. Maybe
Did
not.
he retired?
Pretty sure he retired. Let me look it up. It might have been a rumor, but okay, never mind. Has not retired.
He's
denied reports that he was retiring. But
yeah, but he is out for all of 2026 with surgery. That was also
he's leaning toward
some
voiding
news.
his contract. So I really think he's gonna void his contract. So you're out Yu Darvish now. I mean, you were out him anyways, but you're not getting him back.
Yeah. And then I will say this lineup looks really great. My possibly least favorite player in Manny Machado at the hot corner. Where's Luis Arias going to go? Are you going to re-sign him? He's still a free agent. A lot of, I feel like, I don't want to say unanswered questions because I think Jackson Merrill's for real. I think Fernando Tatis is for real. But I feel like a lot of unanswered questions for this Padres depth chart. Machado, who I have to give him his credit. He's been a constant, through the game of baseball in the last probably 10 years. But how much does he have left in the tank? I imagine he regresses. So I don't know. I am actually not super excited about this Padres team. I mean, do I even want to? I mean, they won 90 games, but do I even want to put them in second place? I don't know. I might have them in third or even fourth. I see big regression from the Padres.
But do you see enough of a progression from the Giants to really say, well, I don't know. I don't think the Giants are going to be better than them, and I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to be better than them. I sure as hell don't think the Rockies are going to be better than them. So, I think they kind of have to be at the 2 spot. Obviously, the Giants have made maybe a little bit more moves than them, but I don't know. I just don't see them making up that ground to really take over the 2nd spot. It's the Dodgers division. We all know that. I feel like it's a battle for 2nd place and maybe a wild card. But are these even wild card teams? I feel like the Padres, out of all of them, that's the only one that I'm really seeing a wild card team. Their lineup is pretty legit. I mean, Jake Cronenworth, I feel like he doesn't get the recognition that he necessarily deserves. Manny Machado, we know what he'll do. Luis Arias, I feel like that is something you kind of need to talk about because he has not signed anywhere yet. He's kind of stuck in the market. people aren't really willing to pay him. So I feel like it's kind of low risk if the Padres bring him back. I don't think that they are really gonna. I don't know. I like Arias too, so I feel like he could really add to it. I think he can add to this team and maybe help them. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it. Their rotation's all right. Everything's just all right. Nothing is really standing out to me as being like, yeah, this is one of the best whatever in baseball. Tatis, of course, but we know what you're getting with him. So yeah, I'm just not too high on the Padres this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was about to say the same thing. There's nothing that excites me about the Padres. Tatis would be the one thing, but I also don't think that he's like. I think he's a little overrated. I think the Giants have a fantastic lineup. I think Matt Chapman is for real. I think Willie Adames had a great year last year. Like Helio Ramos, who can play, who will DH a lot. I don't mind what they've got going on. I think Patrick Bailey's like one of the best defensive catchers we've seen since probably like Yachty. I mean, I think he's great. And then obviously Raffy Devers, right? Who I think they're going to kind of rotate around at first and DH a little bit. So I don't know, like they do excite me. I think their rotation needs a little bit of work, but Logan Webb, Justin Verlander maybe can muster another year, right? If they re-sign him. Is Robbie Ray still a Giant? Let's see. Yeah, he's still a Giant. So I don't know. I mean, he was like a Cy Young contender a few years ago, if I'm correct about that. So I don't know. Like I think the Giants could take that step forward, because what does a full year of Raffy Devers give you? I think the Diamondbacks have made some good moves. I don't know. That's what I see when I look at them, and I feel like, although I feel like you're right, like I feel like beyond the Dodgers, it's just those three guys fighting for a wild card spot.
Maybe I kind of counted out the Giants a little too early by just looking at their record, which is not really a great way to go about looking at it. They finished 81-81, 500, probably the most mid team in baseball last year. But like, you're looking at them and like they got the power there. Like they got the guys who can get it done. One guy that I think kind of goes under the radar is Drew Gilbert. This is like a former top prospect. He never really panned out, or am I thinking about the right guy? I swear I am. I don't. Yeah, he never really panned out, but if he can do what he needs to do, then he'll be great. Matt Chapman, of course, like you said, you're getting a great defender and a power hitter, and who really like can pass up on that. Devers, same thing, just kind of reversed. Or wait, never mind. I'm tweaking. Devers, you're getting a guy who can hit, not too much defense. The move to first base, I think, is going to help him. But I think I kind of counted this out. Logan Webb, I'd say he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball. I would go as far to say that. Logan Webb is legit. No, I think I want to say that the Giants are going to be my number 2 here for the NL West. Padres are going to take a step back. They haven't made the moves that they need to. Giants have made all the moves that they need to. So simple math, they're going to get the bump up.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think I'd put Dodgers at 1. I think I might also say Giants at 2. And then Padres, Diamondbacks. I feel like I have to put the Padres above the Diamondbacks, but I feel like the Diamondbacks had a bit of a regression year last year, but without like really losing much. I mean, that Diamondbacks infield is just fantastic. Ketel Marte, obviously, this is all contingent on Ketel Marte not moving. I think without Ketel Marte, they're a different team. But Arenado slots in to give you fantastic defense at third base. Geraldo Perdomo is like an all-star shortstop, and people don't talk about him enough, I think. So I don't know, like I really like, and then Corbin Carroll, obviously, in the outfield, who could be like an MVP candidate and was for the first like month or 2 of the season. I think what happened to Alek Thomas, man? I mean, did he just fall off a cliff? I feel like he was really good.
I don't
No, he was a promising rookie, but then he just never really figured it out. But he's still got some time to figure it out.
It's kind of like Corbin Carroll Jr. Like they're kind of the same player, but Corbin Carroll's just kind of a step above. Like I'm taking Corbin Carroll over a lot, like probably most of the MLB if I had to pick between a lot of guys. But now looking at their depth chart, like they got a lot more than what like you think. Jordan Lawler, top prospect. He's going to be great. Corbin Carroll, one of the best players in baseball, MVP candidate. Geraldo Perdomo, like you said, underrated. Ketel Marte, he's that guy. But other than that, what really do they have? Gabriel Moreno, he's good at catcher. Tim Tawa, I don't like I just don't see him being like the. I don't see this as a team that's going to go deep in October. One interesting thing though is their rotation. I think their rotation's pretty underrated too. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, he's legit. Merrill Kelly was good last year. Brandon Pfaadt, Michael Soroka. I feel like these guys, like they could produce. I don't think they're necessarily done. And then Zach Gallen. We haven't talked about Gallen in a while. I don't think he has not
Like, where does
signed
he sign?
anywhere.
You know, if
Yeah,
he goes back to the
where's he gonna go?
Diamondbacks,
He could go back to the Diamondbacks, and if he back to where he was, like that's another great pitcher. So, um, if all their rotation performs and their stars are stars, then I think that they'll be okay. But I just don't
Mhm.
think that they're gonna get above fourth in the division. I think they're gonna stay exactly where they're at. They again, I just haven't made enough moves. I think that the Padres are above them slightly, maybe quite a bit. But I think this is a three-dog fight, and it's the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants, if that even
Mhm.
means anything. It's just a wild card race at this point. Um, but going to the Rockies, I think we all know where we stand on the Rockies.
Yeah. And I want to, before we leave the Diamondbacks, I just want to point out Corbin Burns. You know, they dropped a bag on him, and he
Yeah.
was their number one starter. He only pitched in 11 games, and he was for real. He put up 2 WAR basically
Oh,
in
yeah.
those 11 games. But they were without him, and so they should have him by July, you know, at the earliest. So I feel like, you know, if he comes back, they could also be a different team than they were this year.
I
But
completely
I also still agree with putting them fourth because I don't think the Padres fall past the D-backs.
Yeah.
I do think we owe it to the people to talk about the Rockies, though, because they suck. I mean, not
gotta-
because
we
they're
gotta
good.
do it, dude.
You know, we owe it to the people to talk about the Giants and about the Rangers. And hell, I think we owe it to them to talk about the Athletics because they've got some exciting stuff going on. But the
I'm
Rockies don't. The Rockies have
they have
nothing.
who do they have? What like there's nothing here. Like Kyle Freeland is their ace? Are we serious? Like I like Kyle Freeland too. You can't hate on the guy. But that's not an ace. I'm thinking ace, I'm thinking Garrett Cole, like somebody like that, but I'm not thinking Kyle Freeland. It's hard when you're talking about the Rockies. It's like the Coors effect is real. Pitches don't break as much. You're looking a lot flatter pitches. But like, I don't know. I figured they'd at least try to get an ace. Chase Dolander, he could be good, but again, that's a maybe. We don't know. I mean, he's young. I don't know. It's tough to even like get into them. Hunter Goodman, I think that is the guy that is going to be the face of the Rockies for at least a couple years. Because other than that, I don't think it's going to be Mickey Moniak or Brenton Doyle. I mean, Ezekiel Tovar. It's just like,
Oh,
who is the
Ezekiel
face of
Tovar
the
was like one of the worst hitters in baseball last year, and he's
Yeah.
supposed to be good defensively, but like when you are helpless at the plate, and Hunter Good, and I mean, like if your face of the franchise is Yadier Molina, right? You're in good shape. But other than that, like I do not want the face of my franchise to be a catcher, a pretty good catcher. I would say pretty good.
pretty good?
He's fine. He put up a 3.7 WAR last year. Let's see if he can continue it. But it's like this Rockies team, nothing. I mean, Chris Bryant, like that's your biggest contract you've ever offered, or something.
He's just nowhere. I mean, he
And
obviously has issues. That's a different story. But like,
yeah,
I feel like the bigger conversation is who is the face of the Rockies? Because it's no one. The Rockies are a faceless franchise. If it
Mhm.
were up to me, they'd be relegated. We'd bring up some minor league team. We're going to take a page out of the English Premier League, a little soccer action. I want to bring up a minor league team to take over this team because I just don't see any bright spots in this lineup aside from Hunter Goodman. But again, I mean, he's a silver slugger. But this dude cannot carry a team far at all when your division rivals are the Dodgers and the Giants and the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Like, which is what are they? I just don't understand like where their head is at. They're rebuilding obviously, but like, where's the
Mhm.
rebuild? Like, where are they? Like, do they have? They don't have anything to trade. They can't rebuild because they don't have anything to like go out and get guys
Yeah.
with. So it's just
Who do
such
you
a
trade?
weird
You know,
spot.
if you always trade away your one good player you have, you're never going to make it. You know,
Yeah.
at some point, you got to just, you know, like pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And here's the big question, though. Everyone's wondering this question. Will the Colorado Rockies win more than 43 games?
It's
I mean, can they get worse? Is it even possible? Is it possible for the Rockies to be a worse team?
I don't think so. That is the only thing that that's not even hope, bro. That's just like I just don't think they're good. There's no way they can be that bad. The only way to go up, the only way to go from there is up. Like you just you have to be so bad to do worse than that. Like this is just such a hard team to talk about because the question with them now is like, are they going to be worse or better than last year? And it's like I don't know. They could be. We're gonna have to see. Like they very well could be worse. I don't think they're going to get better. They're either going to be exactly where they were at or worse. I just don't see any. There's nothing, no light at the end of the tunnel for Rockies fans. You guys are in purgatory for a minute. You're never going to get to a World Series for a while. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm breaking the news right now. I'm sorry, but just prepare for very long couple years.
Yeah, I think the Rockies need to keep doing Dollar Beer Night, or they will move. I think they will move.
Really? You think they're going to move?
I think if there's a team that's going to head to Nashville, well, who can speculate, right? But if there's a team to head to Nashville, it's the Rockies.
Really?
They keep sucking. And maybe that's, what their owners are doing. Because, I see no light at the end of the tunnel. They're in a tunnel. I see no light. They're in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, and they cannot dig themselves up. So final order for the NL West: Dodgers, Giants, Padres in third place, Diamondbacks in fourth, and Rockies bringing up the rear. Rockies rocking.
I think we're in agreement there.
Tend to do.
They are rock, all right, rock bottom. Yeah, I think we're in agreement. The only place that I could really see movement is 2 and 3, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, we don't even really need to talk about the Dodgers. Kind of gloss over them. We've talked about all the moves that they've made, but yeah. I agree 100% with what you're saying.
Let's go to the AL West now. This could be interesting. We got the Mariners. These are last year's standings. I'll shout them out for you. The Mariners with 90 wins and 72 losses in first place. The Astros just barely missing the playoffs at 87 and 75. Your Texas Rangers at 81 and 81, a clean 500. The Oakland, or should I say Vegas, Athletics at 76 and 86. And the Angels at 72 and 90 in last place below the lowly Athletics. Shohei is gone, and so are their playoff hopes. Where do you want to start here, Chuck?
Oh, shoot. This is an interesting division. I think we should just start with the top dog. Let's go with the Mariners. I consider myself like a low-key Mariners fan, I feel like I think the way it should be is everybody could get an NL team and an AL team. NL, obviously Cardinals, that's my main team, but if I had to pick a different franchise in the AL, I'm picking the Mariners. I love the Mariners. I love everything that they've done, their history. It's very cool. And I think they're going to repeat what they did last year, this year. And a big part of that is Cal Raleigh. Is he going to do that again? Obviously, he's due for a little bit of regression. I just don't see a world where he does that again. That is an otherworldly season that happens once in a lifetime. But I could see him putting up 50 home runs, 45, and leading them back to the promised land, almost making it to a World Series. Yeah, no, I'm very high on this team. I'm excited for what they have. They've been in on a couple different guys. I know Brendan Donovan was possible for him to go there. If they add that, you can't hate that at all. They're just adding another guy to their already good roster. You can't gloss over the rotation. I think that this has got to be a top 5 rotation in all of baseball. Everybody is just legit. Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Bryce Miller. It's just dog after dog after dog. If you're going into a series with these guys, that's a tough couple games because every day you're going to be facing a top starting pitcher. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. I don't mind having a team in each division. Obviously, I'd be a Cardinals fan first, but I could root for a little Mariners, seeing as I'm a Seahawks fan. Keep it in Seattle. My Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. Hey-o, how about that? But yeah, I'm looking at what you are too. I look at this rotation. I kind of thought Luis Castillo would old out, but he's sticking around, 33 years old, putting up 2.6 WAR. Come on, Luis. Brian Wu, dare I say, a true number one starter. Logan Gilbert, great. Bryce Miller, younger guy. George Kirby, also great. Yeah, I mean, like that is um, a good starting rotation. Their bullpen is great too. Andres Munoz is like for real closer. Like, did he put up a 1.73 ERA out of the closer role last year? Are my stats incorrect? That doesn't even sound right. I'm gonna have to get a check on that.
This guy's a dog.
But I look at the Mariners, and then I mean that's to say nothing of the lineup, right? If Cal Raleigh, repeats what he did, which I think is very, very unlikely. But if he does that, that's just like this is like a World Series team we're looking at. I mean, you win 90 games, and obviously Jorge Polanco departs, but it's not like he was your best player, or anything. I think they're a little light on lefties. But like someone who kind of like interests me is Colt Emerson. I think he's pretty close, is he not? And he's a top prospect. He's a lefty. I think, like, dare I say, he could end up being their starting shortstop.
I think
come opening day, I think he'll be a guy to watch for sure.
They have an opening at either second base or third base, so I don't think that's crazy. Putting him anywhere. I like J.P. Crawford. I think he's kind of got shortstop, but I mean, you move Cole Emerson, he can play second and third. So I mean, either position for him, I feel like he could really make an impact. The only thing that like kind of scares me on this team is their hitting. I feel like the guys who do hit, and then the guys who don't really don't. Like you got Julio Rodriguez, who has superstar potential. We've seen that in the past couple of seasons, but then like, other than him, Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarena, Josh Naylor, I don't know. I just don't really see too much there. Like Leo Rivas or Victor Robles, it's just not too much on the hitting side. But again, you got that rotation, like that can really make an impact. We saw it carry them to, almost making the World Series. Of course, having a switch hitting catcher that hits 60 bombs also factors in, but I don't know.
That would help.
That helps out a little bit, It's not better than Aaron Judge, but, it is what it is. But no, they're going to repeat exactly what they did. I think they're going to get upward. I don't know. I like them at 90. I think they're going to stay the same. I think they're just going to repeat exactly what they did. Maybe not without the whole Cal Raleigh most insane season ever, but they'll be close to exactly what they did last year.
Yeah, I like that call because I don't see this team winning more than 90 games. But I also feel like I don't see him winning any less than like 85.
Yeah.
Like it is baseball and guys progress and regress, in ways that you can't even really predict. How about giving JP Crawford some love? 3.7 WAR last year. I mean, this like how is this not something we were all alerted to? I mean, I knew he was a great defender. And I think that you need an elite defender at shortstop. Like I think it's necessary. I think every team needs their elite defender, and if you don't have one who's at least like league average at hitting, like I feel like that is possibly the most important player on a team. I'd throw catcher up there too. So I do really like this Mariners team. I can see them repeating in the AL West. I really don't see anyone else overtaking them. I think we go now to the Astros, right? I feel like would be the move.
Go down the order. Yeah, I like that. Astros are kind of in a weird situation, They've had the dynasty of the like late 2010s, 2020s. I think it's fair enough. You can call them a dynasty. They were legit.
Yeah.
Looking at their depth chart again, they have so much depth at starting pitcher. It's kind of unreal. I don't think I've ever seen this many names under rotation ever. But the guys that they do have, other than Hunter Brown, they don't really have too much. Tetsuya Imai, he's going to be legit. I'm pretty high on him. I think that he'll be great. Their bullpen's actually pretty good. You got Josh Hader, who is a great closer. Christian Walker, I feel like he's pretty underrated. He's got a good glove at first base. Guy hits for power. Altuve, I've heard, is moving back to second base, which I like. I didn't really like the whole left field experiment. I think second base is his home. You got Correa back. Jeremy Pena, legit. Yordan Alvarez. This team like really just isn't bad. Like they're pretty legit. Cam Smith, he was a prospect who kind of made a name for himself last year. And then you can't not talk about Yordan Alvarez. That guy is one of the best hitters in baseball.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean this team is not bad. It's just I just don't think that they're gonna do what the Mariners can do. I like the Mariners more. I don't know if maybe I'm a little biased, but no, I think Astros are gonna give them a run for their money, but they're not gonna beat the Mariners.
Yeah, I could see them being the top two dogs in this division for sure. I think the Astros have only gotten better, truth be told, and so like mathematically they won 87 games. I think they've gotten better. I mean, Amai is a great addition.
Yeah.
I think like Isaac Paredes, like look at this guy, man. He's been great. I mean, he's 26 years old and he's put up, let's see, 25 WAR last year, and 24 he put up 3.4, 4.2 in 2023, 2022 he put up 2.4. Like, and this guy's on their bench. This guy is Carlos Correa's backup. And so I think they have a sneaky good lineup. Um, you know, behind them, I think like Jesus Sanchez, who kind of hit some bombs for the Marlins. I mean, not to give a Marlins player love. I know that's just like a horrible thing to think of. But, like I said maybe 10 minutes ago, I want, a great fielder who's at least decent with a bat at shortstop, like Jeremy Pena, who I think could be an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Yordan Alvarez, who if he, stays healthy, MVP candidate. Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa, past their primes, still
Not
good.
bad.
Like no one looks at either of them and is like, yeah, that's an easy out. It's like, no, these guys put up 2-point WAR still. They're still serious guys. Altuve is 35. Correa is 31. That's not too old. Christian Walker in the 5-hole. Love that. So I don't know. Yeah, and you already went over the rotation. Brian Abreu, Josh Hader, Brian King in the bullpen. If that's the back end of my bullpen, I'm super excited. So yeah, I really like the Astros, and I could see them jumping the Mariners, but the easy answer is just these are both two good teams. And so I think they're my 1 and 2 without a doubt, fighting out for the 1 spot.
The thing that kind of keeps me from saying that I think they can make a run at the Mariners is that they just don't really feel like a playoff team necessarily. Like I don't know if that's because they didn't make it last year, but I don't know. If I'm going to take a team out of either of them, I'm probably going to go with the Mariners. They've got a very similar team that we know can take it far. I don't know. I don't know if the Astros really have that in the tank to go as far as the Mariners did. Like I don't know if they're winning those games. But yeah, this is a sneaky good team. I feel like we haven't really heard much out of them because they'd missed the postseason. But they're interesting. I think that they do have a shot. They do have a legit chance. Just personally, I'm not really buying into it.
Yeah, I think the Mariners are definitely more consistent, and so they'd be the safer option because you don't know what Amai will look like, right? I mean, he could be a Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He could also be like mediocre. He could be horrible.
Yeah.
I think that is the least likely option, but you're definitely taking a risk when you get these international players. But yeah, I do think they've got a shot. I think if they're competing for a wild card spot, they're going to have a hard time because the AL is just full of Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think you get 3 playoff teams out of the AL East alone. So like I think we could see a repeat in the AL West of only 1 playoff team. I think it's either the Mariners or the Astros. Going now to the Rangers, obviously we already touched on Mackenzie Gore going there, but we look at this Rangers team and I feel like the first thing that you talk about is the rotation. I mean, like Jacob deGrom slotting in at the number 1, he can still shove. 37, still kicking. Nathan Eovaldi, who's also up there with Jacob deGrom, and that's kind of scary if your 1 and 2 starters are 37 and 36. I feel like that can be a bit risky because you're like, when are they going to fall off? But Mackenzie Gore, obviously, like, I'm looking at this now and I'm like, if Mackenzie Gore's my number 3 starter, I'm super happy. I feel like they also like that they get a lefty. Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, 2 Vanderbilt guys that I got to see play when I was a little younger, who could both slot in there in the fourth and fifth spot, as well as Jacob Latz, who was up for a cup of coffee last year, put up a 2.8 ERA in 8 games started. So yeah, I mean, like they had the best rotation in baseball, and I don't see that really changing at all.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said about the rotation. I feel like they're kind of in limbo right now. Like, are they ready to win? Are they ready to rebuild? Like where are they really at? I think that they're
Mhm.
a very third place team. Like they're an exact 81 and 81 style team, in my opinion. Like I just don't really see them kind of getting better or getting worse. Like I think that they're just mid. They're all right, you know. You can't count them out, but you can't really count them in. Corey Seager, of course, well, he's great. Wyatt Langford, he's an interesting guy. He's young, he's good. Evan Carter, another guy that's young and good, you know. They've got a lot of young guys, but then they have a lot of old guys, and then they just traded all their farm system away. So like what are they really
Mhm.
going for? Like they have not enough of one
Yeah,
thing and two. I don't know. It's weird. It's they're in a weird spot.
yeah, I feel like if you're the Rangers, you have to hope that this is your playoff push year. But I feel like the AL West always kind of feels like it's a little crowded especially with the Astros being a force in the last 10, 15 years. Obviously, yeah, you trade for Brandon Nimmo and you give up Marcus Simeon, which is to some extent that's like a major league strength for major league strength move. Like, is this outfield one of the best in baseball? Brandon Nimmo, who put up a 3 WAR last year, Wyatt Langford, who is like a dude, and Evan Carter, who's young and has got that potential. They've got a ton of lefties as well, which makes for a really interesting lineup. Let's see, Jock Peterson, Brandon Nimmo, Corey Seager, Evan Carter, Josh Smith are all lefties. That's 5 in their projected starting lineup. So I don't know, maybe that's to counter this Mariners rotation because they're all righties in the Mariners rotation. I don't know. I don't really know the idea behind that, but I don't know. I feel like this Rangers team could be good. Dare I say they need to add another piece though? Like, I don't know who that'd be. All the big hitters are gone. I feel like they just need all their guys to get better, especially those younger guys. Like if Wyatt Langford can progress even further, they could add a first baseman. Like I could see them going after Luis Arias. I don't know what their money situation looks like, but I feel like he'd be a good fit for their team. I don't know. Like I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like where I'm at. Like, how do they get better? Like, how do they get worse? Like, it's not
Mhm.
really much they can do here. I feel like they tried Mackenzie Gore. They got him. You know, I feel like that'll help. But I don't think that that's like a division winning move. That's not enough for me to
Oh
say
yeah.
like, oh yeah, they're gonna jump the Astros and they're gonna give the Mariners a run for their money. It's just they don't really have that. You know, I think Semien being gone too. You had Semien and Seager up the middle. Like that's a pretty good that's a pretty good duo right there, and that's gone now. Honestly, I kind of want Semien more than Nimmo, in my opinion. I kind of like that more. Getting a second baseman with power, and they lost that.
Hmm.
So I think that kind of hurt the team a little bit, but I don't think it hurt the team enough for me to say that they're going to get worse. I think that their rotation's good enough to get them a little bit better. Um, it's just yeah, I think that they're gonna be another 500 team, if not around that. I could see them going 81 and 81 again.
Really. I could see them improving. I agree. I don't think they'll jump either the Mariners or the Astros, but I could see them improving. I think there's a possibility we look at an 85 win team. I don't think that's enough to make the playoffs. I think if they take a ton of steps and I also think they're not done. I think if they add one more piece, especially at like first base or something, I think they could compete with the Mariners and Astros. But I feel like there's a lot of ifs there. That's not counting on regression from a lot of guys, and that's not counting on DeGrom and Eovaldi just their arms just being done. Like they could lose some velocity and they could just be like, at 38, your arm just kind of putters out. So I feel like yeah, this Rangers team doesn't really have what it takes to go all the way. But I also like what they have built. I think the next place to go is the Athletics.
Yeah.
I feel like is there any movement in the AL West? As I'm looking at it, I think the Angels get worse. I think easily the Athletics get better. Just quickly, like I want to go over this infield. Jacob Wilson, who put up a 3.5 WAR and was amazing as a rookie. A trade for Jeff McNeil this offseason. Brent Rooker, who was just a dog. Tyler Soderstrom, who well, in the outfield, obviously, but I'm just going down their projected lineup. Tyler Soderstrom in left. Lawrence Butler, who's a great glove in right. Denzel Clark, who's like fine in center. And that's not even to mention Nick Kurtz. So I love this starting lineup for sure.
Yeah, I really like this team, which if you told me that I'd be saying that 2 years ago, I'd be like, what are you on? Like, there's no way this team is gonna be really, like,
Mhm.
building, like, upon themselves, but we talked about this in, I think, like, episode 1 after Soderstrom signed. That was a pretty big one.
Mhm.
I think Soderstrom could be one of the most underrated players in this league. People forget that he led the MLB in home runs for, like, the first 2 months or something crazy like that. Like, this dude can hit. Nick Kurtz, obviously, rookie of the year. Like, you can't, like, discard that. And Jacob Wilson, who everybody thought was gonna be the rookie of the year, and his teammate came out of nowhere and decided he wanted to hit for, like, the greatest single game performance ever. I like it. I think that the biggest thing now is just building up their rotation because you got Luis Severino, who hasn't really been good since, like, what, 2017? Their rotation just really isn't there to really say that they're gonna be better than the Rangers, but I think they're definitely gonna get better. They're for sure gonna get better. There's only up from here. Um, and they won more games than, like, people really give them credit for. They won 76 games, which is not great,
Mhm.
but it's not you're not Rockies, where everybody thought that they'd kinda be by now. And I think Jeff
Yeah, they,
McNeil
they weren't.
too, like, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, they like I'm just comparing them to other teams in the AL. They won 76 games, the Twins won 70. They won 76 games, the Rays won 77. Like this wasn't, I mean, they were a bad team, but horrible, like not at all.
No, yeah.
I think I don't want to talk like business and money because that puts an icky taste in my mouth. I like to stick to stats, but I will say like I think the owners have probably decided, look, we're moving to Vegas. When did they move to Vegas? A year, 2 years? I think they still have one more year in that minor league stadium. But then you move to Vegas, and I think as soon as they get to Vegas, they want a good team. And so I think that's why they're building up to be good in a year or two. So I don't know. I also think that offense puts butts in seats. I think people like to see home runs. They like to see guys steal bases and so like they like to see guys hit to a 350 average. And so I think that's why they're investing in their offense. And I hate to say that like, oh, this is a money move, but this seems like that to me,
Sure.
like no one really shows up to the ballpark to see a good setup, man.
Yeah.
No one cares. They don't care at all. What they do show up is to see Nick Kurtz hit 5 home runs in one game. Or was it 6? Was it 5 or 6 home runs in one game?
4 home runs in 1 game.
Oh, 4? All right, 4 home. Still, like that's awesome, right? And he's young and he's a rookie of the year. You got 2 rookies of the year on your team. If Jacob Wilson was in the NL, he probably would have won it there too, right? So I don't know. I like this Athletics team offensively. Defensively, though, I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
Their pitching is eh.
See, defensively, you kinda gloss over Denzel Clark. He's a good defender. Remember he had catch of the year. It was like one
Yeah, that's true.
you had, like, rolling off the wall, like, that dude can field. I don't hate them defensively, but yeah, like you said, like, them moving to Vegas, it reminds me of whenever the Rams, the St. Louis Rams moved from St. Louis to LA, which still hurts me. That really sucks. But, you saw it there, like, they sucked in St. Louis for so long. They were terrible, and then they moved to LA and they just go win a Super Bowl. They make it to the Super Bowl, and then they win one, and, like, they almost made it back this year. I think that that's the same thing the A's are gonna do. They tanked just so they can move, and now they're gonna go make all their money in Las Vegas, where they're in a big market. They're gonna go spend. They have this exciting young team. People are going to wanna go watch, like, that it's for sure. That has to be what it is. We're looking at the Rams of baseball here. But,
Mhm.
no, they're exciting. Like, it's just an exciting team. Like, I would for sure pay some money to go watch all of these guys play, Maybe not their rotation or their bullpen, but, I mean, they're legit. People are gonna be I think you give them 2-3 years to solidify their pitching, and like this is going to be a top team in the MLB. Should everybody pan out and stay at the top of their game.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess we go now to the Angels, who I think we both probably agree are going to be the bottom feeders. Like, could this be one of the worst rotations in baseball? I mean, I don't want to. Like, I don't know. You say Kikuchi was good last year. Like, but they don't have a true number
Great.
one. And then their rotation would be great if they got a number one and a number 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Then offensively, they're not anything special either. Zach Neto can hit,
Joe
and
Adell,
then Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Adell's just so inconsistent. I mean, he hits home runs.
Last year, he was a dog last year.
I don't know. I'm not the biggest believer in Joe Adell. I feel like he's not like he's a very Angels guy. He's like he's not a world beater by any means. I love Christian Moore. Can I just say that I got to see Christian Moore play on the Huntsville Trash Pandas, their AA, and that was freaking awesome. I saw him about 2 years ago. He's a real speedster, but also like not really a game changer. And he's still like a prospect. Like we don't know how he's gonna pan out. I don't know, like Yoan Moncada is your 4-hole hitter. I don't know. I'm not really seeing it with this Angels team. I don't know if I see him getting any worse, because any worse and you're entering White Sox territory.
Yeah.
They're not horrible. They're just meh. They're mid. They don't excite me.
Yeah, their rotation is pretty weird when you're looking at it, because like who is their one? You got these guys all have potential. Like Reed Detmers threw a no-hitter a couple of years ago. He's not bad. Alek Manoah was like second in Cy Young voting, like third in Cy Young voting 4 years ago in 2022. Like these guys, like they're past their prime, I guess, but like who says that they can't be good, Like I don't really want to like count any of these guys out. Grayson Rodriguez wasn't bad last year. With the Orioles, he wasn't bad.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I think Manoah is still 28, so I think he like if he can return to the form that he was, he could be your number one
for sure.
So yeah, maybe I guess I did overlook this roster a little bit. I think Grayson Rodriguez, like I don't know, I feel like it's not happening. He's still 26, so you've still got time, but if he doesn't figure it out soon, he's going to be a liability on that roster. Their bullpen is like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Robert Stevenson and Drew Pomeranz, who's old. I don't know, like they're not horrible. We're still miles above the White Sox and the Rockies, the lowly Rockies, but like they don't, they definitely don't excite me. They don't have a star player. I feel like, maybe Zach Neto, but like he's got to be their best player at this point. Well, Mike Trout, obviously, but Mike Trout's also getting old.
Who knows if he still has
and the question will be, how long does he want to stick around? He's like DHing a lot.
Yeah, they got it's just I don't know. They got a lot of guys who want to prove themselves. I think even Anthony Rendon could factor into that. Like if I was Rendon, I'd be pissed off. Everybody's saying that I hate baseball and I suck and all this. I get injured too much. Why would he not want to go out there and prove everybody wrong? Why would Vaughn Grissom not want to go out there and prove everybody wrong and go make an impact? Or Oswald Peraza, Travis d'Arnaud's old. Like he wants to make an impact though. Like why would he still be in the league if he doesn't want to play? Logan O'Hoppe, that guy was pretty good last year. Like it's just a lot of guys who need to prove themselves, and there's just not been enough proving other than Mike Trout. Like that's Mike Trout. Like, he's barely an Angel to me. I see that guy is on another planet. Like you can't even really talk about him in the same stratosphere as this team. But everybody needs to prove themselves. They're obviously the bottom feeders of this division. But, I think you give them, I wouldn't even say their future's bright. I don't know what's going on with the Angels. They're bad. They're going to be bad for a while. But, like, I just want to see some guys prove themselves.
Yeah, and you did mention Anthony Rendon. They also they did rework his contract, and their GM came out and said he won't play in 2026. So he's gone. People say, oh, he hates baseball. He's going to be sitting at home recovering from hip surgery, and I'm among those that say that he hates baseball.
Yeah.
I feel like the Angels just live in the Dodgers' shadow. Frankly, I'm not I'm not like I feel like anyone can see that like the Dodgers are LA's team.
Yeah.
And the Angels are just the little brother. With that, we're coming up on an hour 20 here. I think we've got. I feel like there's no change, and you can disagree with me, but I've got Mariners, Astros, Rangers, Athletics, Angels.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this is like it's the same thing as the division before. Like there's just not any change really, nothing really going on. Yeah, no change. Keep it how it is. Pretty boring division other than like the Mariners and the A's. They're exciting. Astros could be good. Just kind of a whatever division, not the one that I would typically tune in to go watch.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming out and watching the show. Make sure to follow Sandman on socials. Download the Sandman Sports app. I mean, come on, baby. We're for real now. Yeah. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. Did you know that, Chuck? We're on LinkedIn.
No, I did.
Yeah. So it's great. Thank you for being part of the Sandman family. Come around next week. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Thank you guys.